Okay, so no. So I watched Bring Her Back,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I I thought it was good. It definitely creeped me out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There were plenty of times that I was like, and I could not look at the camera. It was like too
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like the ending dropped the ball a little bit for me. Like I wasn't a huge fan of like certain choices they made plot wise, essentially like who's dying, who's not dying.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but I gave it a 7 out of 10 overall. And I still thought it was very good. Like it was really well acted, the story was very compelling, like it was all there. I just feel
Yeah.
like it could have been a little better. Um
I did start it the other day. But I only got a few minutes into it. And I will say, yeah, the beginning, right out the gate, I got up to the point where they're like walking around with the camcorder. Well, no, 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 no. Wait. I got past that to where the shower. They come home in the shower.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still pretty early on
I'm
then.
very early in. Yeah,
Okay.
I did start it, and then I had to. I have this horrible habit of doing that. Sometimes I like to start movies when I need to be working on like actual productive shit, and so then I have to stop.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
that. I watched
yeah.
Sinners again
Mhm.
for the umpteenth time at this point.
Mhm.
Still just as good. I
It's like
fucking
a
love that movie.
yeah. It's. I can't wait to see all of the costumes for
Oh yeah,
Halloween.
me neither.
Yeah, because the people that are like bringing it out at like all the cons and stuff, all the conventions, already
Mm-hmm.
look so good. But like, I can't wait to see videos of people like hosting actual like Sinners themed parties. I have seen a couple of those
Yes.
already, and they've just, oh my gosh, the amount of like just energy that goes into it is just amazing. Amazing.
It really is. It's wonderful. I love that it gets
Yeah.
as much love publicly as it does,
Yeah.
as it deserves. I feel like we're gonna see a lot of Sinners this
Mm
year,
hmm.
a
Mm
lot
hmm.
of K-pop Demon Hunters,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
obviously.
For sure.
And probably the other movie I watched, and I
Mm
know
hmm.
you watched,
Mm
The
hmm.
Substance.
God, yeah.
We have
Yeah.
to talk
We
about
have to
The
talk about
Substance.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna throw out spoilers if you have not watched The Substance yet. If
Yeah.
you don't care about hearing anything, cool, hang out. But just so you know, if you haven't watched it and you're waiting around, don't listen to this part.
No. Mm-mm.
But yeah, holy shit, that movie is so goddamn good.
Oh my God.
Talk about I am so sorry to everyone involved in that movie that I did not go see that in theaters.
Same here.
I What a disservice I did to myself to
Like,
not see that. Ugh.
yeah, like the fact that Margaret, I don't want to mispronounce her last name, Margaret
Qualia,
Qualley,
I think. Yeah.
dude, holy shit. Like watching her in Maid, because I love Maid. I fucking
Mhm.
love Maid so much. She did a phenomenal job in that role. And then seeing her in this,
Yeah.
holy shit. And Demi Moore, dude.
Demi, the two of them were what a pair.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. Like so good, and just like the makeup effects as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot The ending pops the fuck off if you don't
It
plan
does.
on watching this movie because of the body horror elements. I will say, like, there were definitely parts I can't watch because my two like big triggers in body horror things are
Mm-hmm.
nails and teeth.
Dude, yes.
So could
Same
not watch
here.
those. I was like, I
Same
know what's
here.
happening. I'm not gonna watch it though.
I had to fast
Uh
forward past the fingernail.
yeah,
I
so
couldn't do
just
it.
look away for those. But yeah, otherwise the costuming was so
It was so
amazing.
good.
And
It was so good.
I I imagined that once Sue was born, once she kind of started to take a lot of the spotlight and really start to live in it and feel the pressures of it, I was like, I think she's going to eventually want to create a better version of herself. It's just a matter of like, how fast is she going to get there? And
Mm-hmm.
what's that going to look like? Believe it or not, everybody, that's exactly what they do. And they do show you what it looks like. And I thought the movie was going to end there.
I did too.
Wrong
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and this is where I think the tones that they set throughout the entire movie wrap up so well in this final act, if that's what you would call it, I think, of this. I wish I could remember what it was called. Whatever Mega Sue hybrid monster that's created. I can't they gave it its own title.
It was a combination of their names. Eliza
Yeah.
Sue. It was Monstero Eliza Sue or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that they gave it its own segment.
I know.
And she just wanted to be a pretty girl, you know? Yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, like the tone that they set throughout the movie, because first of all, Dennis Quaid, yeah.
Yeah.
We all know he's a creeper. Like, he's not a great guy. Not someone that you really want to see casted in movies nowadays.
But I think that they gave the perfect role for him.
Exactly. I was like, well, they really just said, play an exaggerated version of yourself.
Yeah.
Whether he was aware of it or not, who knows? But yeah, they make it's like out of this world bonkers how animated he is and how poppy all the colors are. And then so leading all of that up to this end where this monster is like walking through the streets, has a poster slapped onto its face that people are not looking twice at. Like, only to spray the audience with mass amounts of blood.
I mean, that was like, yeah, that was straight
up. Evil Dead level, like.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
It.
Yeah. Megan and I will definitely be doing like a full segment episode on that at some point. So if you need like so what genre would you consider that? Because I don't want to mislabel it. What would you classify that film as?
I would say it's a horror movie.
A horror? Yeah. I didn't know like, so what are the parameters for like classifying something as a psychological thriller? Is it just like,
I think that's more if it's solely mentally based.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
Whereas like this had a lot of other elements. Like a psychological thriller, I would think of like A Silence of the Lambs or Shudder.
Okay.
That kind of vibe. That's just me. I know that all of that is very subjective and, you know, I don't know if there's any one person that can say, this is what this means.
Right.
But, you know, that's, I feel like, the gist that I usually get.
Yeah. So if you need something, if you need a horror movie that will definitely trip you out, definitely watch The Substance. Absolutely. I haven't had a film linger with me in a while like that one did. Like even it like impacted me so much that even when I was like flipping through for another movie the next day and I came across the title, I just stared at it for, you know?
I've been doing the same. I'm like,
yeah.
Do I watch it again? I'm like, I kind of want to, even though it's heavily disturbing. Yeah.
I did after we watched it, I did have to come upstairs and put on Is It Cake? I was like, let me just put on something light.
Here I am. I've been just binge watching through Interview with the Vampire.
But that's so good. It's so good.
That show was so freaking good. If you have not watched that show, I urge you to get a trial of AMC Plus.
They have it on Netflix.
Watch it.
It's
on Netflix now.
They have season 1. I don't know if they put out season 2 and 2.
They just did recently.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, go and watch that.
Please do. Oh my god, it's so good.
Especially because the third season's coming out soon.
Right. I know.
It's good. Freaking brilliant. I love those gay vampires. So yeah. But welcome to Blood, Books, and Binge Watching, everybody. It's so good to see you guys. Yes, we're back for another spooky episode. As you can tell, I mean, we're always doing spooky episodes, so I don't know. That's very redundant. That's what we do here. But it's Halloween. Halloween-themed episode. You know, 'tis the time of year. I've got some new decor going on. I'm very much feeling the vibes. I'm very much enjoying the vibes. Flooding my eyeballs with whatever horror media I can grasp. It's been a great ride. It's been a great October so far.
It has. I've got the house decorated and moving up here over the weekend to decorate in here. So very excited.
Sweet. Yes, we did decorating as well out in our living room. And I tried something new and I hung witch hats from the ceiling. And so they look like they're floating, and I want to add candles next year, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'll be a cool project. But yeah, so it's the most wonderful time of the year.
It
Christmas Who.
is.
So yeah, we are here to talk about another movie on our list of Halloween themed movies of the month. And today I'm wearing the movie that we're going to be talking about is
Trick or
Trick or
treat!
Treat.
Trick or treat!
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. And literally, as I'm watching this movie and watching all of these kids going around trick or treating, very much also, when we were watching Halloween and
Mm-hmm.
talking about that, it just like brought me back to trick or treating as a kid and like
Mm-hmm.
just the experience of going out. And sometimes you unfortunately have to be bundled up. And so you have your puffy ass jacket underneath your,
Yeah.
princess whatever costume. It really looks great, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But it was a moment. Like I can remember the smells and the crunching and the leaves, and it's what a time. And then I'm driving around the other day in my neighborhood here, and I see a billboard for a trunk or treat 3 days before Halloween. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
okay, listen, I don't have kids. I don't know that experience. I will say, like, I feel like they had their time and their purpose. Like
Mm-hmm.
during the COVID times, totally made sense. You don't want to be walking around exposing yourself to people's homes and all that. But like
No,
now,
trunk or treat has ruined the magic of trick or treating.
yeah,
It absolutely
yeah,
has. Yeah,
it's a real
100%.
bummer driving around at like Halloween nowadays and like no one's out doing anything.
Yeah.
It is quite a bummer. But anyway, we're not here to be bummers. We're
No, we're
here
not.
to talk about Trick or Treat, one of the
Mhm.
all time greatest Halloween movies ever. I remember literally, I think I stumbled upon this on like some random streaming service. And I'm like, yeah, sure, let me check this out. Oh my God, what a masterpiece of like, storytelling in a movie.
Mhm. Mhm.
It is just fun. The vibes are so on theme. The costumes are great. The acting is fun. Like it's such a well-crafted movie for the time of year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, let us do our little intro for this movie here. Trick or Treat came out in 2007 and was directed and written by Michael Dougherty. And we have some like credits. I mean, this movie is filled with people, and I'm gonna do my best to point them out when we like get to them in the plot if I don't mention them right now. But it's like kind of big four that appear to me. Are Anna Paquin of True Blood fame, obviously.
Mhm.
Also X-Men. We have Brian Cox, who X2 and X-Men, so they've been in a movie together. But of course also like Succession, grumpy old man that's
Mhm.
usually in stuff nowadays. We also have Dylan Baker, who is Dr. Connors in the Raimi Spider-Man universe, which I thought
Oh,
was, I'm
okay.
like, I know him, and that's why. And then my last shout out is for Rochelle Aites, I think that's how you say her name. And she was in White Chicks, and I
Oh,
fucking
nice.
love her. Yes, she was the reporter in White Chicks.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the funniest fucking movies ever to be created. I'm so excited the Wayans brothers are coming back for another Halloween movie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot wait.
I can't either. It's gonna be really good.
So I feel like I might leave some of these facts and trivia for afterwards because I don't
Mhm.
want it to like future spoil things. Except for
Yeah.
one thing I'll say is the little boy that I might reference in this plot is Sam, who
Mhm.
is. I'll describe who Sam is a little later, but just know that that's his name. But otherwise, we will just hop on into this plot here. So we are opening on like a very old school looking video about trick-or-treating safety. It's like number one, stay on sidewalks, and it's very like is themed. So yeah, it's like stay on sidewalks, don't go into strangers' homes, and don't go out alone. And it's like, ooh, setting the tone. So we cut to a lit jack-o'-lantern, and we're in like modern times, and the yard is filled with white sheet ghosts. Your typical what you would imagine.
Mhm.
And so we enter. The actor's name is Tamo Penniket, if I say that correct. He's playing Henry, but many know him. I know him as Gadriel from Supernatural.
Mm.
So that's how I know him. I also get him mixed up with another actor quite a lot, and I think it's like Sam Worthington I get him mixed up with. I don't
Mm.
know. And then we also have Leslie Bibb. Leslie Bibb's here.
Yeah.
And she's playing Emma, who was also, she was recently in White Lotus. I know her as literally every mean white woman in all of cinema.
Mm.
Every single thing I see her in, she is this mean white woman.
Yeah.
She is like the stereotypical Karen in every single movie that she's in. I'm like, you just constantly play these miserable women. I'm so sorry.
Right. Can you imagine being like constantly picked for that role? Being like, oh, hey, I have this role with you in mind.
For real, I feel so bad sometimes. So, because I know it's not her fault.
Right.
And so they are arriving home from a party, and Emma blows out the lantern as the camera POV shifts to a lower to the ground handheld shot. Are we reminded of anything, maybe?
Mm.
And so we're clearly looking through some kind of mask, and it's like running up to the gate in front of this house to watch them, go inside. And Emma is being a massive fucking killjoy and telling Henry, like, take down these decorations because it looks like a graveyard. It's like, yeah, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, it's still Halloween night. What do you mean?
Like, that's crazy work. That's fucking crazy work.
Like, listen, if Halloween isn't your favorite holiday, there might be something wrong with your brains. I don't know, but like, that's not my business. But Halloween night, come on.
That's another level of killjoy.
Yeah. So she tells Henry that he's gonna sleep. She goes, well, you can't, because he says he'll do it tomorrow morning. And she's like, no, because you're going to sleep until noon and then you'll play video games until 4. And it's like, also, girl, why are you with him?
Right.
That is a man-child.
Yeah.
So it's okay. And then Henry wants to do, and which I'm not putting the blame on her. Man should clean up after himself the next morning. But if she knows that habitually he won't, that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So Henry wants to do the nasty, though. He's like, hey, I want to fuck. So Emma's like, I'll just take the stuff down instead, and tells him to go put on the tape.
Put on the tape.
Okay. It shows him taking out this, like, VHS tape, and it's titled Nature Special. Okay. And Emma is out in the front taking down the sheet ghosts, and she sees a person standing across the street in a white mask in, like, a very Michael Myers fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets a little spooked, but it's just a kid waiting for their friends. They get picked up and drive away. She gets back to the task at hand and pulls a sheet down, only to be then attacked by something that we can't see.
Mm-hmm.
She struggles under the sheet and has her throat cut by a jagged Halloween lollipop. It's awesome. Yeah, Emma, you don't take down your decorations before Halloween's over, okay?
For real.
And so Henry then goes back outside after listening to the entire porno. He's start to finish, and then he's like, oh, what? Babe,
It lulled him
there?
to sleep.
He literally fell asleep watching porn.
Yeah.
Wow. And he finds the sheets are back up, like nothing ever happened, and one starts to get, like, lit from underneath. So he takes off the sheet and finds Emma's dismembered head stuck to the pole with a massive lollipop shoved in her mouth. So, like, her mouth is stretched wide and it's, like, super bloody and grotesque. And, it's so good. Bye, Emma. And then we get the opening credits and it says 4 short stories. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get 4 short stories. And let me tell you, thought this was going to be easy to plot out because I'm like, they're each their own story. Yeah, but they're not told in succession of each other. So
no.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to watch an edit, though, that it is in sequential order. Mm-hmm. Like, as far as, like, they're all cut together in individually of themselves. I think it would be pretty cool. So we are in Warren Valley, Ohio on Halloween night. And the camera follows a dirty pillowcase being dragged through the streets. It's very damp. It's dirty. It's nasty looking. It's by some kid that we don't see. And then it just says earlier. And there's a Halloween parade / celebration going on in the streets. And I would like to go to there. It, like, reminds me very much of, like, what Salem could be like if it was still small town vibes. If it wasn't crowded as hell.
Yeah.
Because that is what it used to be like. And a group of girls is getting dressed in some costumes in a store, and they're getting spied on by a little kid, which is so fucking creepy. And then the mom comes over because like the girls are talking out loud amongst each other because they're in public, so you talk to your friends. And the mother comes to grab her peeping tom of a child and then reprimands them. She's like, ladies, there's kids out here. And it's like, yeah, your kid was just spying on them. What the fuck? But ain't that the truth of a lot of situations these days? So 4 young women exit, and they're all dressed as like slutty princesses. But then Anna Paquin emerges as a Red Riding Hood, and she's very much not slutty in her outfit.
Yeah, she's very bashful. She comes out.
Yes, I'm
Very
bashful. And her friend, who we actually learn is her sister, says it's tradition for them to dress up together and get dates to go to this party. And we'll kind of find out more about this as the night goes on.
But it seems very like, oh, okay, fine, group date.
Yeah, it's a group of girls going out and they're getting dates for a fun Halloween party. Hell yeah. The leader of the group, as it kind of feels like, who's named Danielle, who is her sister, she asks out the cashier, who agrees to meet them later. She's like, it's that easy. And it's like, well, yeah, when you look like that, damn, your boobies are out.
Yeah.
And like that kid would literally say yes to a tree.
And her costume was $230.
All of their costumes were crazy expensive.
For that time? $230. Jesus.
Right? And so we cut to a kid named Charlie who's walking down the street smashing pumpkins, and he sees a house.
Sorry.
I never understood that reference. So fucking funny. So he sees a house with like a take one piece jar. So he's like sick and he grabs like a shit ton of candy. And then he's interrupted by a man, and this is Dylan Baker, who tells him to sit down on the stairs. So this man's name is Wilkins. I forget what his first name is. Steve Wilkins, I think. But
yeah, I think
we're just going to call him Wilkins.
Yeah.
So we then cut back to the 4 friends. So Lori, Danielle, and their 2 friends. And they're walking down the street and bump into Emma and Henry very momentarily. It's like crossing paths. We know them.
Right.
But there's like no interaction whatsoever. It's very just passerby. So they're trying to hype up Lori, who is, we find out, 22 and still a virgin. And she says she wants her first time to be special. It's like, okay, cool. As you can wish that. And then
way to insert that in here.
Yeah, it's very heavy-handed on the information. I mean, this movie's like an hour and a half long. They're throwing it all at you.
Yeah.
And 2 of her friends go and immediately pick a couple of guys for the party, and they're friends also smoking hot. And these like 2 desperate men who are just like, yeah, wherever you want.
Right.
It's also a movie. So we go back to Wilkins and Charlie on the stairs, and Charlie's snacking on some of the candy that he just took. Wilkins just like goes at it on a pumpkin with a massive fucking butcher knife. And he's talking about how like tonight is about respecting the dead because they can roam free on Halloween. And he talks about like traditions and how they've gone from like more protection to like nothing as far as their the traditions of Halloween. And Charlie then starts to get sick and just like starts puking molten chocolate.
I thought it was blood at first.
I'm getting to it because like
sorry.
I'm glad you said it, because we'll get to the part where then when Wilkins is carrying him in and he's still kind of like, he's passed out, but his body is still regurgitating this stuff, he is puking up blood.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because it was dark outside and so it looked like chocolate, or if it was at first and then it turned into blood because he was eating so much. I don't know.
I am done eating my chocolate chips that I was just munching on.
Oh, it's one of my favorite snacks. But yeah, like when I watched it, I was like, oh, it's just chocolate. It's just chocolate. Don't worry about it. It's just chocolate.
Right.
God.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I accidentally bumped my cable.
Because it is like, it's nasty.
It's gross.
It's icky. So Wilkins talks about another tradition on Halloween. He's like, you gotta always check your candy. And it's like, okay. And then so poor Charlie is just a chocolate fountain all over the stairs, and he passes out in Wilkins' lap. So Wilkins gets up and he's dragging Charlie inside, and now we can see in the light of the house that he has blood covered. He's covered on one side with blood.
Yeah.
And Wilkins is then caught with the lights on. So a group of kids, like 3 kids, come up to his door and they're like, "We know you're in there. Open the door." And it's like fucking rude, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And so he opens the door and they see some kids and they're like, "Oh, wow, nice costume, Mr. Wilkins." And they're clearly a little unsettled at the fact that this man he's covered in blood. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "But it's Halloween, so I guess it's not real, right?" And we find out he is the principal at the school.
Yeah.
So this is the principal of the school is killing his students.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's great.
Awesome. And as the 3 kids leave, another is revealed behind them in like this dirty orange sweater jumpsuit kind of deal with this round burlap mask on with 2 button eyes. And it's honestly kind of cute. I like it.
I do too.
And Wilkins kind of hands out this candy, and he just like hands out his little hand and he just grabs one and then he walks away. And he's got a burlap sack for a bag that he's just like dragging behind him. And as they all start to leave and this kid starts walking down the steps, we hear a cat start meowing from inside the bag as it hits the stairs one after the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Sam. I think Sam's fucking adorable. But yeah, I just thought I thought it was a semi-comedic moment, but maybe I'm just twisted. And so we cut back to the girlfriends, and Lori is breaking off from the group to find a date and is like, "Oh, I'll meet the rest of you at the party." And then we get back to Wilkins again, and then the drugs are scattered. We see drugs scattered across a counter. So he has been poisoning all of the candy in his candy jar all night. So Charlie is not the only kid that's gonna be dying tonight.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And he then grabs like a blanket of sorts and this cleaver, and he's like, "Oh, this will be nice." And it's like, what the fuck are you about to do?
Yeah.
And then we cut out to his backyard, and he reveals this very large grave, and there's already a covered body inside of it. And it's like, what? Oh, so this is the second child you've killed tonight. Okay.
Yeah, he's very fucking twisted.
So fucking twisted.
He's so fucking twisted.
And then he goes to dump Charlie in there, and then there's this kid who we find out is named Billy, shouts from the window, and he's like, "Dad, I'm home from trick-or-treating." He calls him Dad. Daddy.
Yeah.
So this man has a son.
He's got a fucking kid. And he's the fucking principal.
He's in the middle of burying bodies in his backyard. What the fuck?
God.
And so Wilkins tells him to like be quiet, don't disturb the neighbors, also like don't get me caught burying bodies. And it's kind of a funny moment going back and forth because the kid's like, "Why?"
Right.
As kids do. And he goes, "Go watch Charlie Brown." And he goes, "Charlie Brown's an asshole." It was so funny. And I actually found this fact on IMDb that when Steven tells his son Billy to go watch Charlie Brown and he calls him an asshole, they're not actually talking about the classic cartoon character. And we'll find out who he's talking about a bit later. But we've already met a Charlie, so keep that in mind. So Wilkins dumps Charlie's body and fills in the grave and then notices the neighbor's dog barking at him like through a little hole in the fence. So then Wilkins decides, "Wow, great idea. I'm going to break off a finger and toss it to the dog."
Oh my God.
Okay, sure. Distracts the dog. But then if it doesn't eat it, you have evidence over in the next lawn. You idiot. And so, sure enough, the owner comes out and Wilkins hides in the grave when like one of the bodies, not Charlie, starts to wake up and draws the attention of the neighbor who is named Mr. Krieg. And they have like a brief conversation while Wilkins is like beating the struggling victim and like stomping them to death.
Mm-hmm.
And Krieg goes back inside saying like, "Ah, screw you." And the kid keeps struggling, and then Billy comes back saying he needs help with the jack-o'-lantern's eyes. And Wilkins is like, "I'm so fucking over this." And it's like, oh wow, as if you don't have to kill people.
Sorry for the
Also,
inconvenience, bro.
Wow, what a world.
Yeah.
And then Billy mentions a parade later. He's like, "Can I go to the parade with you later?" And Wilkins says, "No, I've got a date." And it's like, what time is it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? I will say it does get dark very early. So I'm like, okay, if the kid came back around like 7, I
Hmm.
could understand if he's meeting someone at 9, you know?
Yeah.
So Wilkins takes a final blow at the kid and like with a shovel, he like just slams down on him. And then we cut to the filled in grave now, and he's watering a dead tree that has been stuck in the ground. I had to rewind and I'm like, that tree looked dead. I think that's
Yeah.
a dead tree. And then he starts like mocking his son and he's like, Daddy, I want to do this. Daddy, I want to do that. And I'm like, wow, you hate your kid.
Hmm.
And we get a scene, or we get a better look at what Billy looks like, and Billy looks like Charlie. He is a curly redheaded child. And I'm
Hmm.
like, you know what? That seems pretty motivated,
Right.
that
Right.
Wilkins would kill a kid that looks like his
Looks like
kid.
his son. Yeah.
Yeah. So as Wilkins is walking inside, we see Krieg next door, like banging on the window, yelling for help. And Wilkins looks at him. He's like, yeah, screw you. And then goes inside the house, as Krieg told him earlier. And then we see something like attack him from the side, and Krieg goes down. And it's like, okay. Then we cut to inside the house, and Wilkins hollers for Billy, and we get a jump scare from the kid. It's well done. And he asks if they can carve the jack-o'-lantern now. And Wilkins is like, yeah, let's go. And he grabs his hand. And then he grabs the butcher knife on the counter and kind of puts it behind his, arm, and they go downstairs. Then Billy's like, and it's really, honestly, they drag this out in the best way possible to build up this tension,
They
because
did. Yeah.
they show the two of them walking down the stairs, but Billy's being a kid and he's like jumping one after another, because this kid's got to be what,
I'd say
6,
yeah.
5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
6 or 7.
he's young.
Hmm.
And so like he's being so childish, and then he's running up and he's like, yeah, I'm so excited. And then Wilkins is like coming back up, and like he starts to like raise up the knife behind him and like puts his hand on Billy's head, and we're just like, he's about to do it. Oh shit.
Hmm.
Oh, fuck, he's gonna do it. And then the knife comes down, we don't see what it hits. And that is another point, like we never see the kills happen in this movie. It
Right.
always cuts away at the last second. So like a knife comes down, and then we hear like it hits something. We hear a squelching noise, so we're like, oh fuck, he did it. But then it zooms out, and the two of them are carving up Charlie's head together.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
Wow.
I literally was like, oh yeah, he was like warming up earlier. He's about to kill his kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
Nope.
And then Megan, what does what does his kid tell him?
Oh,
Do
I
you
don't
remember?
remember.
He
What does he
says
say?
he says, you gotta help me with the eyes.
Oh yes, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's got to help him with the
With the
eyes.
eyes. Yes. God. What an interesting bonding experience.
Oh, you definitely get the feeling that this is not the first time they've done this,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
So
Yeah.
who knows how many years this has been going on.
Yeah, because his kid's conditioned to it, right? His
Yeah.
kid's been, like, oh, this is Halloween.
Yeah, we do this every Halloween. Just someone's head just hangs out here.
Oh.
So, with that lovely scene concluded, we go back to the 3 kids that we mentioned earlier that are trick-or-treating at another teacher's house, and she's like dressed as a slutty cat and is clearly very drunk because she's offers them a drink.
Yeah, she's like, you want to come in? I won't tell anyone. I'm like,
Yeah, like
bitch,
it's
what?
so fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids ask her instead, they're like, oh, well, instead of candy, can we have one of your jack-o'-lanterns? And then one of them, like, kind of peeks around inside, and there's an orgy happening in there.
Straight up. Straight up.
Okay.
Mhm.
So the kids leave and walk down the street to meet up with one of their other friends who has another 3 jack-o'-lanterns in the carriage, but they say they need more. So they arrive at another house with a yard that is filled with jack-o'-lanterns. And we see this girl coming out of the house, and her name is Rhonda. And they make it known that she's like very, quote, weird. And they're very obviously bullying her. So they leave this like cute boy named Schrader to talk her into something. Because the main girl of this group, who's like dressed as an angel, she's like, you're on Schrader. And like they leave. It's really fucking weird. Like, but teenagers, So we go back downtown, with the party in the streets, and there's two people that are making out in an alley, and the man, there's like a man in a cloak and a mask is undressing this woman and like kissing her. She's getting really into it, lost in his touch, as you might say. And then we see that she's like covered in blood, and she starts to realize it too. And then the man starts to like step back and reveal that he has fangs, and the woman runs screaming for help, obviously, because she's with a vampire. She makes it out to the street, but no one believes that it's real because it's Halloween. And so she grabs at someone who ends up being Emma and Henry, ironically, and they wave her off like, oh, she's just drunk. And it's like, drunk or not, like, that's distressed. That's not drunk. And then a man reappears behind her with one last scream. And then she's dead, and he poses her passed out against a building in the street. And he just simply wanders into the crowd. Just that easy. It's very eerie. Okay, so we go back to the group of kids with like all the pumpkins, and they're walking down a path, and Rhonda explains the origins of Halloween and Samhain to this kid that she's with who's dressed like a pirate. And like she got her a hyperfixation, and we love that for her. Her hyperfixation is Halloween. Hell yeah. Because the kid that she's talking to looks at her really weird, like, why do you know so much about this? And it's like,
Yeah.
why is that weird? That she
Right.
knows the history of something. Like, they're fucking weird, man. I don't miss that age at all.
Mm-mm. Oh, God, yeah.
Uh,
My teenage years were fucking bizarre.
mm-mm.
Bizarre. Like not a normal, just, degenerate teen. Mine were fucking strange.
Oh god, I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna think about it. So the
But I
kids
do-
arrive at a court. Oh yeah.
No, I was just gonna say I do love that we did get that included in this film, right? Even if it's coming from a younger character, I was like, I really appreciate that was added in here. So,
Yeah, they gotta give their nod. She clearly
yeah,
respects the holiday properly.
right.
So the kids arrive at a quarry, and they've been brought there by this lead girl named Macy to pay respects, she says. And one of the kids references the Halloween school bus massacre, which is a town
Ooh.
legend. And they're like, we don't call it that. It's like, oh, so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And so Macy goes on to tell the story of what happened about the story of a group of kids riding the bus on a Halloween afternoon. But they weren't, quote, your typical kids. She says they were 8 kids that were supposedly disturbed. That likely just means they probably had some kind of mental disability. So we're getting all of this told like in a flashback kind of way. And so it shows the driver making a wrong turn, and we see the same little kid in an orange jumpsuit and a mask playing with a dead bird on the side of the road. So it's like, what are you doing all the way back there, Sam? What you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So the driver takes the bus to the rock quarry that the present day kids currently are at, and we find out that these 8 kids' parents had approached the driver and made him this really big offer to get rid of their kids for them because they were stressed and they, were tired and had enough. And I'm like, I know it's a legend, but I'm like, as if any parent would anyway. Like,
Yeah, no, because
hearing
I watched
it said and all that, I'm like, all right.
the first time I watched this movie was definitely before parenthood, and watching this after entering parenthood, especially being a special needs parent,
Yeah.
it did pull on my heart, even though I'm like, you know what? It's a movie. It's, but yeah. It's heartbreaking because the reality is, I won't get on my soapbox for long. I'm just going to say the reality of it is there are parents out there now that do still feel like that. Like especially working in education, I can't tell you how many parents I, heard over talking that didn't think that I was around the corner. We like talking about just giving their kids to the state and shit. And I'm like,
yeah, but yeah, no, I'm happy to let you have that floor. 100%.
Thank you.
So yeah, so the bus driver stops at the edge of the quarry, and the kids, like one of the kids is like, he understands that they are not where they're supposed to be, and he starts to panic. And as the bus driver's like handing out candy to everybody, he's also making sure they're all chained up to the fucking bus. And one of the kids slips their restraint, and he's like, I want to go home. He gets in the driver's seat, puts the bus in drive, not knowing how to drive a bus or drive at all, and unfortunately accidentally sends the bus over a cliff into the water. And
Mhm.
Macy says that the driver was never heard from and they never found the bus or the kids. So that's the legend. And so it says that the bus is still down there because it was never recovered along with the kids. So in present day, they've brought 8 jack-o'-lanterns for the 8 victims. And they take a rickety old elevator to the bottom to leave them as offerings because the top isn't good enough.
Right.
And so Schrader tells Rhonda that her jack-o'-lantern looks pretty, and Macy, who's dressed as an angel, rolls her eyes and is like clearly jealous that he's not giving her attention. So she's like, it's Macy, Schrader, and like one of her friends are in the elevator, and she's like, oh, it'll only fit 3, and leaves Rhonda and this kid in the pirate, who I think is Chip is his name.
Yeah, I think so too.
Leaves Rhonda and Chip at the top to come down after them. So we're back downtown at the block party now, and Lori is looking for a prospective date, and they keep reminding her, and she reminds herself that she only needs to be herself. She keeps repeating this, but we see that she's being stalked by the vampire from earlier. And we fade out and then back in and can tell like a little bit of time has passed. Once again, how long is this night?
Yeah, we've
what
got a
timeline
lot
are we on here?
We're following quite the motley crew of characters now at this point in storylines.
Yeah.
We've got a lot going on.
Right. And so Lori still has no date. And she then gets a call from her sister, Danielle, and the group and says, Danielle's like, oh, I found you a date for the party. He's here. And then Lori's like, oh, is he ugly? And she's like, no. And we see that it's like a half passed out fat guy in a baby outfit. And it's like, wow. Real. Wow.
Ew.
Yeah. And so she's like, I'll take care of it. I'll be on my way soon. And then the girls in the forest, because we can tell it's like a bonfire kind of party. So they hear howling nearby, and then the sound cuts over from them to the party at the quarry. And Rhonda's like, werewolves. And I'm like, I love you, Rhonda.
Right.
My girl. Werewolves. And the elevator then comes back up, and then they get in, and as they descend, they hear the other 3 talking and see their lanterns kind of like floating around. And then their shouts turn like frantic, and one by one the lights go out and they start to get real fucking scared. And they arrive at the bottom, and Rhonda exits the elevator, but Chip stays in. He's like, no, I'm all set. He's a bit too scared, and agreed. She walks away into the fog and out of view, and then as she walks, she ends up finding the school bus in what is left like of water in this place. And she also sees the bloody remains of Macy's wings and a mask floating in the water. So when she goes to grab it, she's grabbed by the ankle and then sees these zombie children coming after her and feeding on Chip. They're like munching on him, and it's like, what the fuck? So they the kids like chase her around, and she falls into a ditch and hits her head, knocking herself out. And it's like, oh fuck, I thought she was dead.
I did too. Yeah.
Thankfully she's not, but we now see that the dead kids are really just Macy, Schrader, and their other 2 friends. So they're just playing a prank and being absolute assholes. So when Rhonda wakes up, she's obviously very scared, and her glasses are also missing, so she can't see for shit. And the poor girl is traumatized, okay? That is not a prank. That is someone sending someone into fucking terror. Like, no.
Yeah.
This is why I hate prank culture. It sucks.
Oh my God, I know.
Because people do this shit. I will say I am going to a haunt later this month. That's located like in the woods, and I am so excited.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, Schrader goes to help her, and Macy's just like a bitch. She's like, why? What do you want to help her for? And it's like, oh my God. And they all agree that they need to leave. So they find one more lit lantern, and Macy kicks it into the water like a bitch. They start hearing this creepy whispering, and then it cuts back to Rhonda and Schrader, and they hear like these echoing screams in the distance coming from the other 3. He leaves to go check it out and find his friends, and they see the actual ghost children coming to get them. So the actual zombie children have come. So they start to run. One gets caught up in her chains, poor girl, and she's just simply dragged away, and just torn to bits. And when they get back to the elevator, we see that Rhonda has locked herself inside, and they're like pleading with her to open the gate. And she like does this slow thing where she's about to go open for the key, and they're like, yeah, and then she goes and presses the button instead.
It's like,
I was
y'all
like,
fucked
"That a
around
girl."
and now you're gonna find out.
Uh-huh. She's like, you know what I think about this holiday, and you do that
Right.
to me? No.
Yeah.
So she leaves them to die. And Rhonda arrives back up at the top of the quarry, and we hear just echoing screams from the kids from down below and like this munching. So they're just getting eaten. And Rhonda then sees the same kid in the orange jumpsuit, and they like kind of have this moment where they look at each other and they just continue on their ways. It's like,
Yep.
all right. So Rhonda and Sam had a moment and they continue on. So then we cut back to Lori, and she's walking down a path and hears footsteps behind her, and she's eventually jump scared by the vampire. And we cut to the bonfire where her sister and friends are waiting, and her sister is saying that their mom always said she was the runt of the litter. And I'm like, that's a weird
That's
fucking
an
way to describe your kids.
interesting. Yeah. What a compliment.
Yeah. And then we see the vampire attack Lori against a tree, and she screams. Then it cuts back to the party, and we see a body drop out of a tree to the floor in Lori's red cloak. And it's like, what the? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. And so her sister uncovers the body, and we see that it is actually the vampire. And he's like, please help me. And it's like, you're what? Then Lori steps out from behind them all, looking hot as fuck, saying that, you know, oh, I took longer than I thought. And she's like, oh, I tried to play hard to get, and then he bit me. And they're just like, what?
Yeah.
They offer like her a drink, and the party continues. And then one of the girl opens the man's mouth to take out fake fangs. So he's a fake. It's just a normal ass guy drinking human blood. Nasty. Then she takes off the mask, and we see it is none other than Wilkins.
God, I did not see that coming.
The date that he had mentioned earlier to his son was to go and murder women. All right, so you murder kids and women. Okay. So Lori's friend says that she's glad he's her first. And we're like, come again?
Yeah.
So looking around, Wilkins then sees dead men scattered around the fire. And what kind of party is this? Lori is talking to her sister and says that she's nervous. And her sister says, just be yourself. Over and over and over again, we get this.
And it's at this moment that I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Seriously, I'm like, what? And then we get, like, it goes so hard.
It does.
They slow fade in Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams, and Lori starts to, like, straddle Wilkins and then tells him, like, oh, it's my first time, so, like, bear with me. And it's like, what is going on? And then it starts to build up, and the party starts to get rowdy, and, like, the women are all taking off their clothes, like, piece by piece, and, like, dancing and getting all, like, it was very getting witchy, honestly. Like, it was when witches dance around a fire, that kind of deal. And then they start to transform in their faces. And we're like, witches? No, because then they start taking their nails and cutting through each other's skin, and they start ripping literally their own skin off to reveal that they are werewolves.
Fucking werewolves. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
So this is Lori's first time shifting and her first time killing.
Holy shit.
It's so good. Shit. So I really love the half transformed like werewolf look here. Like I just love how their faces look and the makeup that they do on them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's bye-bye Wilkins. You don't get to kill anybody anymore. Good riddance. And the wolves then all howl again. And then we see Sam yet again just sitting on the log, taking in the sights. It's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Child thing. What the fuck is going on here? So we cut to a dark house, and then we get a title card earlier. So there's some trick-or-treaters that approach, and we hear someone wheezing from inside the house. One of the kids knocks, and the door opens, and then like the wheezing gets louder, and two yellow eyes and this growling monster chase them away. And we see that it's just a cute little puppy with a mask, and he's such a good boy. So this is Krieg's house. He is not doing hot. He is in a bad way. And he's burning some old photos in the fireplace and then sits in front of the TV. So he's flipping through the channels, finding only horror movies and horror related stuff, which obviously. So he's like, all right, I guess I'm watching this fucking cooking show. His dog starts barking and growling, and he hears the fence that that is out front has opened. So, and then someone throws an egg at the window and runs away. It's like, what? Okay. So we get like a jump scare with that. The dog's name, by the way, is Spite. Not Spike, but Spite.
Spite.
Like, I live out of spite. I love it. I absolutely love it. So Krieg goes out back to get Spite, who's barking away, and here's Wilkins next door. So we're now seeing the scene from earlier, but from Krieg's point of view instead of Wilkins. And while he has this conversation, we cut again to another point of view from inside the mask that we saw at the beginning of the movie, and it's watching from Krieg's yard. And then he goes back inside with a screw you. Once inside, Spite is barking at something, and when Krieg goes out front to confront whoever's there, the yard is filled with jack-o'-lanterns. When minutes before, it was completely dark and empty. So what happened there? Then inside, Spite continues barking, and we see the doggy doors like flapping away, so clearly something got inside. Spite chases the sound, and upstairs we hear him barking at whatever it is, and Krieg gets a shotgun and goes to the stairs calling for Spite, and he doesn't answer. It's like, no. Flipping on the lights, the bulb blows just as something runs past the top of the stairs, and then we hear Spite whimper, and it's like, no, puppy! Then Krieg goes upstairs and finds a door to his bedroom, or opens a door to his bedroom, and sees something moving under the covers, and we're like, oh god, so they build the tension, and he flips over the covers, and we see it's like a little mechanical hand. But behind him, a jack-o'-lantern like bursts into flames and lights up the entire wall and the entire room. It's really cool. And over in blood written on the walls is trick or treat, give me something good to eat. Oh, it's so good. And then from under the bed, we get an Achilles cut. And then from the other side of the bed, it is revealed to be Sam, who is running around this man's house. And then Krieg shoots at him and hits the lantern. So we go back into darkness. And Sam also reveals that he has cut him. He like does this thing where he holds up a candy bar and then he peels it down and it reveals a chocolate candy bar with a razor blade in it. And it's like, it's so cool. He's killing you with like the mythical, like, gotta check your candy for razor blades. Like,
right. I was going to say it's kind of, like an homage back to the beginning when Wilkins was like, always check your candy.
Definitely is. And so Krieg hobbles down the hallway and then slips down the stairs that are now covered in candy shards. And so his hands are like fucked up and like they're just, and it's like, it's even worse because it's not even glass, it's candy. So you just know like the coatings and the sugar, it just makes it sting even more and just like, oh. So he like gets up and he's trying to like unlock the multiple locks that he has on his doors, but his hands are simply too fucked up to do anything. And then behind him, we see Sam climb on the ceiling towards him. And then we hear like a giggle and it drops down on top of his head and starts attacking him.
It's fucking terrifying.
It's so scary. I can't do it.
Terrifying.
When things are crawling on the ceilings,
I know.
That's when I get the chills the most.
Yeah.
So now we see the view from earlier with Krieg yelling for Wilkins to help him, and the thing attacks him, strangling Krieg. And then in this moment, he rips off the mask to reveal not a child, but this pumpkin-headed monster that starts like gnawing on his leg and eating him. And then Krieg's like, what the actual fuck? He grabs the shotgun and blasts it in the head, and it just looks like a pumpkin bleeding like the seeds and the innards of a pumpkin. It's such a cool monster design. And so he loads the shotgun, and he shoots it a couple more times, like in the middle, and then he shoots an arm off. Then he goes to dial 911. His hands look okay now. But it's fine. And he reports the emergency, but then the line cuts and he's stabbed in the foot by the hand of the monster he just shot off. I thought that was so funny. And then the hand like scurries away and it crawls back to the creature as Sam wakes up. And then the hand reattaches itself and Sam puts his mask back on. So Sam grabs a pumpkin lollipop and then bites into it, showing like the sharded, like sharp edge of the lollipop. Which, hey, I have definitely had lollipops that I suck on to the point where you get a fine tip on those fuckers.
It's like a weapon.
They could be a weapon.
Could shank someone with that.
Yeah. So Sam starts to approach Krieg with like the jagged edge, about to kill him. And Krieg like tries attacking back and the thing breaks his arm. And then he like goes to stab Krieg in the chest. And then we get this moment of pause. And then we zoom out and see that Sam has stabbed a candy bar on Krieg's chest. So he just like looks at it and he just takes the candy bar and walks away. He like got his offering.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so crazy. So he's satisfied and he leaves. With a last look back at Krieg, the front door swings open. The Sam leaves the house and Krieg's just sits there like, what the fuck just happened? I'm sorry. And so now we see in the fireplace, we see the photos that he was burning, and he had a picture of 8 kids in front of a school bus. So he was the missing bus driver all along. So the legend was true.
Dun, dun, dun.
And it's like, whoa! So then we get the title card later, and there are 3 kids dressed in pig masks, and they knock on the door. So it's like 3 little pigs, haha. And they knock on the door, and Krieg answers, and he's like all bandaged up and gives them candy. And one of the girls tells him that he has a great mummy costume, and it's kind of cute. So we can see that, like, and so he steps outside, and we take a look around the neighborhood, and we see next door Billy is dressed as his own father, handing out candy on the porch. Across the street lies Henry and Emma's home. And we see Rhonda walking across the street with her lone lantern, almost getting hit by a car full of the werewolf women from earlier. And then we see Sam standing out in front of Krieg's yard watching him. And then Emma and Henry come home across the street, and we hear Emma like blowing out their candle, and Henry's like, don't blow it out, it's tradition to leave them lit. And she's like, I don't care. And it's the same offensive to Halloween conversation we heard at the beginning of the movie. And so the monster literally, like, Sam goes from looking at Krieg, and then he just kind of pivots and looks across the street, sees the 2 of them, and he's like, yeah. And then he just walks across the street into the yard and looks down at his lollipop weapon, and he's like, this could work.
Right.
And
right.
Like, it's so funny. And then Krieg turns and goes back inside, closes his door, and then gets another dot. He answers it to see all of the ghosts from the kids on the bus. One says, trick or treat, and then the movie ends.
That's it.
What a wonderful movie. I love that movie so much.
It really does. All of the elements that are in this movie really do embody like a Halloween horror movie, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
You
get a werewolf story. You get a monster story. You get a ghost story. I don't really know what Emma and Henry's would be, but theirs is very short.
Right, kind of like going against tradition, like being superstitious, I guess.
Yeah, and like in reading about the movie as well, I have seen it also compared to seeing the phases of what it's like for like kids growing up around Halloween. So you start out and you're Billy and you're getting introduced to Halloween, and then you move up and you're like the prepubescent adolescent kind of age of a kid, and then you grow up and you become, teens and young adults, and you're going out and you're partying, and then you get to be adults, and then you get to be like older. So it is kind of cool that it follows that as well. But yeah, I feel like it's all weaved in very well together. It all makes sense time wise as far as when things are happening in conjunction with other things. So yeah, I just thought it was I really, really enjoy this movie a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
So let us grab some trivia on this one. From the majority of these, all of these are going to be from IMDb. That's like our go-to for our trivia, baby.
Yeah.
So the performers under the masks playing the kids on the school bus all have real disabilities or injuries, and they apparently had a blast during the shoot. And their costumes were inspired by a mix of photos from Ralph Meatyard and Diane Arbus, who I believe were the costume people, I think, capturing real mentally disabled children on Halloween in their own handmade costumes. So it's just really cool that those
Wow.
details were
Yeah.
taken into account.
Yeah.
And on I am another one. Anna Paquin's character Laurie, obviously named after Laurie Strode from Halloween.
Another one.
Another Laurie. Whoa! Anytime you're gonna be watching any movie now, you're gonna be like, Laurie. That's named after Laurie Strode. It's not a
Yeah.
horror movie,
I'm
Rachel.
I'm
Doesn't
just
matter.
going it's like string theory for me now. I'm just going to track it back to all of
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So in the opening sequence of the film, around like 3 minutes in, the dead school bus kids are visible in the background departing Mr. Krieg's house. Like, even before we find out about them.
Oh.
But it is where like their narrative would have taken place in the larger
Right.
story. So I'm like,
Right.
oh well, now I got to go back and rewatch it again. The name of the character Sam is derived from Samhain because it's spelled like Samhain,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
believe it's pronounced Samhain, I think, which is the ancient Celtic festival of the dead, from which modern day Halloween is derived. Despite having been portrayed as such in this film and in several other works, Samhain is not a deity or other. You can correct this if it's not, but it says Samhain is not a deity or other personage of ancient Catholic polytheism. It is only the name of the celebration, which I believe is correct.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, however, the idea of being either deity or other personage, that word is so difficult for me, dates back to at least the late 1st century, largely thanks to an Irish bishop named Cormac MacQuillenan. I'm terrible. My Irish ancestors are kicking themselves. Uh, and his book Sanis Cormac, which is Irish Gaelic for Cormac's narrative, which identified Samhain as such. So
Oh.
that's just it's like that's a messy way of me reading all of that to say that's a brief history of Samhain, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting when you start tracking the origin of our holidays, just like Christmas was derived from Yule, and people used
Mm.
to have to hide the trees in their houses to gift each other because it became forbidden in the village. So, interesting fact.
We will have to that
Touch on that. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
um yeah, you mean Christian holidays are based off of pagan traditions?
What?
What?
Crazy thought.
No. And then lastly, as I kind of said how I love the werewolf design earlier, so all of the werewolves in this film were created by Titopolis Studios, which is the same studio that brought the Lycans to life in the Underworld trilogy. If you've seen the Underworld
Oh,
movies, and I'm like, that's why I like them so much because they
right.
look exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
they
I love
do.
those. I love that werewolf design in the
I do
Underworld
too.
movies. Highly recommend watching those if you are into
Mhm.
vampires and werewolves. It's goofy, it's dark, it's goth, it's
But
emo.
it's
Let it
classic.
be,
It is it is its own element. Like I love those films. I love
Oh
them.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, shit. When he stepped onto Grey's Anatomy, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
You're supposed to be in Underworld. What are you doing here?" So, but I was like, I'm not complaining though. You are hot as hell.
Right, right.
At least I think so. So yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed that like brief stint into Trick or Treat. I wish I had more to like talk about on a cinematic front. Like it is
No, this
not
is
the
just a
impactual movie that Halloween is.
yeah, I feel like this is just a Halloween movie like gift wrapped in a bow. Like
It is.
if you want a Halloween movie, I feel like this is definitely it.
I agree. It definitely is. It's a great one. I watch it every year.
Mhm.
And it's always a good time. Just look at him. Look at the
I I
baby.
know.
He's so cute.
The costume is it's amazing.
Let me
It's
tell you, I
amazing.
have already started. My brain is the gears are turning. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
as far as what I want to try to work on for next year because I love this holiday and I'm very excited for my costume/costumes. Hopefully, fingers crossed for this
Mhm.
year. But I want to tell you so bad, but I'm going to keep it a surprise because I
No,
think
yeah.
it's going to be a lot more fun that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much everybody for tuning in, because I forgot to introduce who we were. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Since I didn't mention earlier, I'm Megan. I'm joined by Rachel. This has been Blood Books and Binge Watching, and we hope you enjoyed our rambling about this twisty, turny, intricately woven movie of Trick or Treat, and have a spooky Halloween.